What is going on, everybody? This is Slick from Breaking the Clutch, back again, casting another Halo Wars 2 video. This match is a double Jerome with Uncut and I. Of course, I know you guys are like, goddamn, about to close out, you damn cheese master. But believe it or not, this is actually a pretty solid game. We're playing against It's Harley and Jerome Kills, definitely two top 50 players, so shouts out to you guys for this match. If you do watch these videos, thank you guys. It was an awesome time playing against you. They're running Decimus Atriox, something I haven't actually seen. Of course, I am going to opt for Extractor first. That's something I've been doing with this Jerome build. I don't know if you guys have seen recently our new Jerome build, but I do opt for a couple of different options. I actually do Marines at the start. I do Rabbits sometimes as well, thanks to Metalloid Monkey and his suggestion. And sometimes I'll even go, say, Snipes, Flamers. It all depends. Jerome is so strong and overpowered by himself that you can really opt into basically any other thing. And I'm sorry for you guys who I know are just cursing at me for using this, but honestly, in 2v2s especially, you really can't run at least one. You can't run no Jeromes. You have to run at least one Jerome in every single game to at least survive, because that's all anybody does. And in order to remain competitive, like, say, I am very competitive as an individual, especially in Halo Wars 2, to maintain competitiveness, you really need to run a Jerome combo. Believe it or not, Ryan and I have actually been getting stomped by Red Player 1 and 2 consistently on ladder. We've had a couple games where I honestly think we've got maybe 50% of our losses in 2s are to Red Player 1 and 2. We have been getting stomped by these guys. They are extremely phenomenal double Jerome players, so we've actually been trying to combat them, and this is our way of doing it, is actually trying to match their strat and then take them down. These guys have just been absolutely incredible with their plays. Of course, yes, I know all of you are very bitter and salty, just like myself, just because they are running double Jerome, but, you know, at the same time, it's unfortunately the meta that we've been given, so we have to run with it. So, of course, my Jerome is getting made here at 130, because I do go Armory 4th. I do like doing that so I can actually grab a mini base fairly early on. You can also go double supply pad Extractor Armory. That's another option, but of course your power is not going to be as significant as you'd like. You will not be able to get the Command Mantis until a certain amount of time. I believe it's, my memory suits me, I believe you'll have Command Mantis done in about 3 minutes, which is still, honestly, an okay time to have it done. I just prefer to have it out as soon as possible to deal with any early pressure, especially in this game where I'm not going to be dealing with any Jeromes on the enemy side. It's something that I most certainly prefer to run. Now, immediately we're going to start sending our units down to grab the power node here. I'm sending down my Jerome and my Marines. Oh, really? Jesus Christ, I'm going to lose that Marine unless I micro properly. I'm actually going to throw down a Barracks there second. Oh my god, I can't damn select it. I am going to save it, I think. Yes, good micro there. Ryan is also going to be opting for a similar build. I think he might go into Rabbits, depending. But of course, here comes the OP Jerome himself. Keep my units inside Inspired just so they can melt that Sentinel even quicker. Alright, so I am officially recycling my armory. What I've been doing is I've been sacking my armory, saving up enough money, going a second generator to get the early Tech 2. Or I've also opted for another Barracks to go for snipers. It's all depending on the situation itself. Since we hadn't necessarily played against It's Harley, Jeff Kills, or a Decimus Atriox combo, we didn't necessarily know what to do. Now, running one Decimus is extremely beneficial, as a lot of you guys know. Decimus Warlord is extremely good at taking down the Mantis or the Spartan Jerome, depending on the situation. You usually cannot pick off both, but a Vortex after a quick Warlord stun will actually drop at least one of those units very quickly. So it's most certainly an idea to counter a single Jerome. However, unfortunately for these guys, they will be dealing with two Jeromes and not just one. So they're going to have to act accordingly. Of course, we do see the Decimus Warlord there immediately off the rip, so we know that that's something they're going to be thinking about doing. Of course, if you do not want to get hit by that stun, one thing you can do is just simply micro around, because guess what? He is a melee unit. As long as you're out of his area of effect, you can do some serious damage. So Ryan and I are going to start backing up here. I do have Sniper and Marine play coming out right now that will most certainly help with the massive units. They will also act as a solid sponge, because a player could be enthused to drop a Vortex on my infantry units as opposed to my Jerome. And also they will take most of the Vortex damage themselves in a giant ball, so that's okay. As long as my Jerome stays alive, I'm usually in a good spot. That's goddamn terrible to say, but it's also reality. And of course, getting my Jerome into this garrison here, he will be able to start melting these units without taking any damage. Who picked that little grunt? Ooh, yes, of course, the Hydra missiles are overpowered as hell. And also, look at that, even getting that engineer from that distance is so bonkers. Of course, using snipers, you need to make sure to keep them at a far distance. I do have them a little clumped up here. That's not good for the situation at hand. If we do get an engagement, then we most certainly could lose those snipers very easily. I did certainly check that. We need to go check and see, since we're playing against an Atriox, we need to start applying the pressure to Atriox's expansion if he has one as soon as possible, because that means his eco could get extremely strong if we don't start applying the pressure. Of course, around 4 minutes 40 is an extremely late time to start pushing. We definitely could have beaten that army if we decided to apply pressure. And look at that. We actually see right away a sensor tower. We're seeing a shield up out of these guys, so we're definitely getting a little nervous. And that's one thing to note. Yeah, look at that. Hunters coming out. So that means Mantis play could definitely be hindered. We took way too long to push. If I could critique, I would say we needed to push it around 3 minutes 30, 3 minutes 30, around 3:45, and then start applying that pressure, because 2 Jeromes could take out that entire infantry army if they are not stunned, and we need to at least take that risk. Of course, my snipers are going to be able to start applying this pressure. Looks like this, looks like light blue player does not have, actually light blue I believe is, yeah, light blue Jeff Kills is the Decimus, so this is a Decimus player. He does not yet have the tech up into a shield, so we are able, yeah, he does have tech up, so he is going to have a shield here momentarily. Of course, so do I, so I actually am going to opt into a second barracks to start going infantry and get things rolling. Of course, look at that. We see the shield coming up. Look at that. The shield is up immediately. We need to back up because we are not going to be able to deal with an army inside of a shield, especially with that amount of hunters and rangers coming out of the dark blue It's Harley player. So we're going to start backing up here and just kind of maintaining map control. Of course, we do have 3 of the 5 power nodes, so we're doing fairly decent in terms of map control, but we could be doing better, sending 1 unit at a time to take that blue power node while we are applying that pressure, and I think that's what we're going to do on the way right now, giving them the opportunity to take back their front base power node, but we still need to at least maintain our control of the map. So we're going to pull back here just because we know we cannot take the fight inside the shield. I'm actually going to put some of my units here in a better position to deal with any oncoming army and kind of take that garrison, because if I have the garrison, I have the map control, I'm sorry, not the map control, the height control, and also I'll be able to see a little bit more vision. Of course, look at all the suicide grunts there. I am luckily going to get some snipes off on them. Of course, I'm not just going to run in one straight line all the way back, because snipers cannot shoot while they are running. So I'm actually just going to move them little by little to make sure I'm still running away from those suicide grunts, man. But of course, oh my god, Atriox Chosen does a serious amount of damage to snipers with that. Actually, looks like that was a Marine with his attack, and it also stuns units as well, so I need to be careful on that. So we do officially have, looks like they actually sent some units out to grab our power nodes. Looks like we will have 4 out of the 5 nodes here in a moment. Right about now is when we really need to start getting other units out there besides just straight infantry. Of course, as you see, Ryan as well does have an expansion, which is extremely good. But also on the flip side, we don't have anything, say, Wolverines, and we're playing against damn Banish players, man. Banish players love Banshees. That's all they do in the mid to late game. Because they, of course, do clutch games just by flying around. Oh, let me just fly my Banshees over to your base and drop it before you can even think about getting there. Especially without teleport or any other way of getting across the map, we are in most certainly a deficit. So going to start pulling our armies back here so we don't have to deal with any of the oncoming pressure. I'm going to start moving my snipes out, and I actually just need to control group them separately. They will be able just to take down any power node attempt at grabbing there from the blue side. Looks like I have about 60 out of 80 pops, so everything's looking good in terms of eco for me. I actually do have a salvo there. Thought about dropping it. He did accidentally sack a suicide grunt. Maybe it was intentional. I don't know. Into that, you definitely don't want to waste suicide grunts on garrisons. They just do not do enough damage. It's basically as if they were just hitting a building. Basically no damage at all. And of course, I still haven't called my Mantis, and some of you might be thinking, why the hell are you doing that? Simply A, because of the hunter play, and B, because the Mantis does an extreme amount of damage when you drop it down onto buildings, infantry, whatever. I love to use it in an aggressive stance as opposed to a giant walking shield immediately. So as long as I save that, I can drop it on an army mid-engagement. It'll stun units. It'll give them one shot. Might even kill some. It's great for us. Of course, I am keeping, as soon as I say all that, I decided to call it in there because I see the amount of Rangers coming in here from light blue. Look at that. He could actually most certainly drop my Jerome the second that he were to show up. So all he needs to do here is just sit inside this Mantis because it looks like the hunters aren't even here. So I also have a salvo. Salvo is going to be extremely beneficial for Ryan and myself. I am going to chase this unit here because I might be able to get him at least one shot. Of course, those Rangers will get extremely hurt. Oh, but the great pull there. Looks like the Warlord is able to pull my units there. I'm going to drop the salvo there to kind of force him to stay back. He also drops the Vortex which does mean that my he will not be able to micro units away. Of course, looks like that the Warlord there will get sniped down, which is huge for us. We're going to start applying that pressure continually and moving up. What it looks like to me is that because even though Ryan and I did dub up on infantry units, simply because of their army compositions, we are going to be in a good spot still. Of course, luckily I did lose my Mantis here, so I am able to at least say have it again for future use. I am sitting on a throne of supply, and I haven't built anything on my expansion, I don't believe, which is a big no-no for me. If I could self-critique as always, I want to spend all the supply on power extract, or I'm sorry, Jesus, generators and other units or other buildings in the same scenario. Of course, right about now, we do know that the blue army has pushed over to their front door, so we have an open opportunity here to apply pressure to this Atriox base and drop it. Even though it is cheap, it does slow the economy down for dark blue. Getting stanchion sniper is going to be extremely helpful to us as well. And look at that, we are probably going to drop this base just like that. So, of course, I am going to keep microing my snipers back. I really don't want them to be overextended in a bad position. It is very, very easy for banished players. Oh, I have been building stuff. Okay, I don't feel as bad now. It is extremely easy for banished players to teleport suicide grunts, or at least rush them in from unseen angles to drop snipers. I think one suicide grunt, even upgraded to infantry level 1, could drop at least 2 or 3 snipers if microed properly. So that's something to keep in mind. I am going to start pulling away here. Looks like we are getting some Wolverines in the mix about damn time. I'm going to start mixing in Cyclops just as a precaution, just because I haven't seen anything out of Dark Blue despite those Hunters and Rangers in the beginning of the game. He could most certainly have swapped into something else. Right now I'm loving the positioning from our armies as well, staying in front of both of our bases just in case they do decide to go for some cheeky play. These guys are definitely top 50 players at least, so definitely need to make sure that we are doing a good job of at least being prepared for any potential flanks. Of course, look at that. Doing an excellent positioning opportunity here has also granted us the ability to take down this base without issue. Ryan dropping in a salvo. I'm going to drop a victory turret there to inspire some units. And of course, I am just going to walk over here with my army as well, just waiting to get in a good position. I'm actually going to try to drop my Mantis there on that army. Or, I'm sorry, not on the army, and the base there. I'm definitely getting a surplus of snipers. You don't necessarily need to do this as an individual, just because having, say, 6 or 7 snipers is enough. Just because snipers, if you have too many, they can die so easily. It's really risky, especially, say, an Atriox who can have a beam, or a Decimus who can use a vortex on those snipers. He can kill every single sniper I have if I keep them bunched. So I'm just going to keep... I should definitely stop making snipers at this moment and start opting for something else, especially because, on top of that, the power demand that snipers have is so extreme that it really is not beneficial for me to continually make those units. Of course, we are thinking about, look at this. This is exactly what we're doing. What we're doing is swinging right. We dropped Atriox's expansion. Now we're swinging left. We took out Decimus's expansion, and now we're thinking about moving back right again. We're just going to constantly put the nail in these guys' coffin and prevent them from getting ahead economy-wise, because they won't ever get ahead at this point. We've been on 2 bases. I threw down a third on their side as well. So we've been on 2 bases for at least 5 minutes now. We have full army pops. We are happy and good to go. And look at that. Just as I said, we move over here to the side, and we do show up on It's Harley's expansion once again. So we are officially good to go on this, pushing this. Of course, look at all the Banshees that are coming out of the Decimus player. That's exactly what I was worried about. We need more Wolverine coverage. We have the anti-infantry. We have the anti-vehicle. Having the anti-air shortly after that would be extremely helpful. So, of course, I call in my Mantis to kind of apply that pressure to the air if they decide to attack them. Because, like, of course, just like I said, I have about 6 Marines, but all my snipers and Cyclops can just be targeted by those Banshees and drop very, very quickly. Of course, here in my army, I was getting logistics, which is okay. I think I was prepared to lose most of my army and quickly rebuild them. However, what I would recommend to myself is actually getting the reinforcements. There it is right there. Just because, guess what? I have such a small army at this point. Like I said, one Vortex could most certainly kill most of my army and composition. I'm going to slowly move out here and try to get a better vantage point. The snipers need to be in the middle to apply pressure left and right, depending on wherever blue would decide to push. I'd also like to continue the map control. Yeah, just like I said with Ryan right there. I said I think I just saw a blue unit right there. Look at this. Huge play out of the dark blue player. Just like I said, we haven't seen him do anything all game, so we most certainly could be opting in for something like that. Look, I am able to get a little bit of vision here on a salvo, so I can drop and do a good amount of damage to these units, but they are just given the opportunity to just rinse my base. All it takes is a simple click of the X button, and he is out of range of my salvo. I look at my base, and just this world's smallest violin starts playing. I have 3 Cyclops to deal with this. Of course, he does teleport to my main base now. This is such an incredible move from Harley, just sending his units in behind my line, just having that whole left side of the map open. Ryan dropping in his salvo now. We've been forced to use 2 salvos. Now would be a perfect opportunity for Banshees to swing into Ryan's main base and start applying that pressure. I have the only ability to take down the I have the only anti-vehicle units. So, of course, I will just be stuck here chasing down this army and trying to apply pressure. Look at, he's just dropping so many things. Luckily, my eco has been so good this game that I'm just kind of sitting on a throne of money at the moment. Oh, huge eradication. Oh, start running away. I could lose. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I only lost 1 Cyclops in that. That could have been a lot worse. Of course, half my base did just melt, but despite that fact, I am able to at least rebuild a lot of these things. If you're ever in this position, guys, where someone gets like a cheeky locust sneak right behind your main, then what you need to do is just buy back the bases after you kill everything, because locusts are good for that ability there. Being able just to drop down bases so quickly, and also the Atriox teleport support was able to say he did such a number on my base, and did drop my expansion, so he did put a hole on my economy for certain. But you got to think about this. I've had a full population army this entire time, and so has Ryan. We didn't lose. I lost 1 Cyclops to that eradication beam, so we are still looking very, very great. Of course, I do see a massive army of hunters coming out of, looks like hunters and banshee mix there from the Decimus player, Jeff Kills. So what we're going to need to do here is just keep our armies together, because the stanchion sniper play will be able to melt these units, and of course the Wolverines will melt the banshees. So I'm actually going to opt in for infantry 3, considering my army is still at full pop. I most certainly also need double barracks still. Luckily my mini base stayed alive, my barracks. So what I'm going to do here is actually just sit on my expansion, assuming that they're going to expect that expansion coming up, and just apply that snipe. Yeah, and look at that. I don't care if they attack this base. I have so many snipes on the other side. I am going to apply all this pressure. I'm just going to skirt them back just a little bit at a time here. Just like I said, just because these units cannot snipe while they are running. Of course, there's the huge vortex there. That's exact. Look at how many units there. He just got 1 shot. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I lost 50 population from 1 leader ability. That is such a choke on my part, guys. What you need to do in that situation is spread your units out as much as possible. Of course, my Jerome there did get pulled by the Warlord. Look at that. I lost my Jerome. I lost 50 pop in army. We are not looking good. Luckily, I did get logistics first instead of reinforcements. So we're going to be okay, at least for the most part. I still have around 2 snipers applying this pressure. Ryan here, coming in clutch, is able to drop nearly everything. Of course, my snipes here will continue applying this pressure. I'm actually going to drop a salvo there, which is really, it's a terrible salvo. I'm not sure why I did that, considering he only has 2 hunters. But of course here, since my eco was so good, guys, just like I said, I'm able to rebuild my entire force here and get everything queued up just immediately. Like, I even have an army on my main base. Of course, those locusts are going to get caught off guard. He called in the suicide grunt to deal with the Wolverines, sillily enough. That's a new word for you guys, sillily. But of course, we are able to push up here on the left side and continue applying this pressure. Ooh, I should get Marine aid there too. Marines might be okay in this situation, of course, with the Rangers. Of course, even though they did push up, okay, they locust snuck. They dropped my expansion that was fully upgraded. They dropped half my main base. They killed 50 population of my army. They killed my Jerome. Everything is terrible for me. Ryan has his entire army alive at this point. Our only option is to push immediately. Of course, he also does have Omega Team out on the field. Omega Team is going to be doing a number to this base, and also any other units. Of course, we do have the height vision. How the hell do we have vision on that? Oh, probably the recon support upgrade from the leader power, maybe. I don't know. We really shouldn't in actuality, but of course, we do take down this expansion. Guess what we need to do? Continue our campaign against the Banish here and just walk right up their front door. And oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Heart attack. Somebody clip that and send it to me on Twitter. Of course, we are going to keep applying this pressure. Walk right through their line of defense here. Kill that expansion. And to basically get back at them for that terrible, terrible thing they did to me. Which was kill basically everything I had. So, of course, getting reinforcements here. We also are going to keep making units out of our bases. Continuing the pump. As you can see, I'm nearly back to full speed here. He has a couple locusts out, maybe a ranger and a blister back in the back. That is a prime thing to jack as Omega Team, and I'm sure Ryan is thinking about doing that. I'm going to keep my snipers at a distance here, remembering the terrible, dreaded moment that I lost maybe 9, like I said, 50 population to a single vortex. Also going to call in my Jerome here, so that way I can hop into that and just help assist with dropping the shield. One of the best things about snipers and units inside shields here is that every single snipe did apply a little bit of damage to the shield, since he kept those rangers inside. Look at that, Vortex is my damn army. Of course, he does opt just to focus my my mech there. I'm just going to lose my shield because I've upgraded it all the way in the meantime, meaning that I kept my army alive. Thank God for that accidental choke there. Oh my god. So we actually decided to opt in for Scarab play after that. Luckily, I have 8 Cyclops, which should be enough. Of course, a beam there. So whenever you can beam, guys, watch this. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to split my army in different directions. Of course, I am going to be pinched with a Scarab, but of course, I did save all of my infantry units here as they try to target down my Jerome. I am actually going to upgrade my Salvo as well, since it's basically back. Triple upgraded Salvo, guys, is so beneficial. So since I have Salvo 2, we are going to be looking very, very good. But of course, that Scarab is going to be very dangerous to us, just because we have 8 Cyclops, and that's about it to deal with that. Of course, Omega Team cannot hijack a Scarab as well, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to back up and regain map control. So keep in mind this, guys. Even though we had to fall back, we did take down Light Blue's expansion, so it has been an extremely back-and-forth match. And I love that we're still staying alive here. I thought for sure that Locust play, followed up by the direct attack onto my expansion remake, that we'd lose a lot. Of course, I am at an extreme deficit at the moment. But of course, look at that hero blister back there with a Spartan, and it will go down for Ryan if he can get the... Oh no, you need to get her out of there, man. You're going to lose her. So what we need to do now is just kind of slowly push right here and attack Dark Blue's expansion if he's got one. Because if we do not, he still has the opportunity. Dark Blue has been in a great spot for the last, say, 5-6 minutes. After warping the Locust onto my bases, and of course the attack following that. So if we are able to take down Blue's expansion as well, then we are looking incredibly good, and we are basically back in it, no problem. I'd say right now we are still in a bit of a vantage point. Of course, with the Vultures hitting the Y button and sending some missiles on that Scarab could drop it very quickly. Those Vulture missiles, man, very underrated, especially with Jerome play, with their increased speed from Inspiration. I honestly think that Jerome Vultures are the best Vultures in the UNSC, almost undoubtedly, and they do such a good number to basically, I've had an army of, I'd say, full pop Rangers and Hunters. Red player 1 and 2 actually did drop. Oh, look at this. We actually were able to catch Blue off guard here. A couple Vulture shots can melt an entire army of Rangers and Hunters, is essentially what I'm trying to say. Of course, these upgraded Cyclops are going to do a great job. Great shield drop there from the Scarab when the Salvo is falling. I'm just going to micro my units back here. He is definitely overcommitting with this Scarab. If we drop the Scarab, that is their last line of defense right there. Harley is definitely kicking himself for that play there, just overstepping. Of course, the pathing of Scarabs is so bad that we are just able to walk through it there and surround it. Now with the Vultures in line of sight of this base without a shield on it, Harley, you are going to lose that base, no problem. The base does fall there, and we decide to continue. Honestly, what we should do here, of course, see me spreading my army here. One thing definitely to note at this moment as well, if you see an Atriox player use an Eradication Beam, and Eradication is most certainly going to come again within 5-6 minutes of the last one. Since I used it on my main base, I'd say around 8 minutes ago, Eradication is definitely a fear of ours, and I think that could be coming up here. I can't remember exactly, but of course that is something to note as a player against Atriox. Eradication is so devastating to UNSC compositions. I don't want to say it should be nerfed, but it's definitely strong enough to be like, oh shit. Of course, as you guys know, I do love maining Shipmaster just for the teleport reason. Of course, look at this. This is a great combination. Vortex and Eradicate will prevent us from getting away. Look at the army comp there. I just went from 80 comp down to 27 in a heartbeat. I'm pretty sure Ryan lost nearly all of his army. I did save about 3 snipes, my Jerome and a Cyclops. The second Scarab comes out for Harley. But once again, we have killed Blue's expansion. We have 2 or 4 completely up and running bases. We've got logistics. We've got reinforcements. We can just remake our army comp as quickly as possible. Of course, we do not have Wolverines at the moment, not as many as we just did, to deal with any Banshee harass. So I think Light Blue is thinking about doing that right now. Of course, with the Banshee harass, I'm going to quad turret and potentially throw up some anti-air to hopefully deal with that. I am going to micro my Snipes and Cyclops away from these Banshees since they're so damn deadly. Of course, with the upgraded Jerome, even late game, his Mantis is so effective even against air units. So I'm really not scared. I'm going to push back to Ryan's base here. We just need to have control because we know that since our armies are so strong already that we can deal with the Scarab harass. Of course, Scarabs by themselves are basically nothing. I'm going to drop... Oh, I decided to cheese out of that. I'm actually not going to drop. Of course, a couple Vulture Y buttons will send those missiles down on the Scarab. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Was that even a unit? I didn't even see that. I damn blinked, and it is about to go down. Oh, man, that shield is so damn strong. Actually, I shouldn't be talking my ass off here. Of course, now that the shield is gone, that Scarab will fall. That's the second time we've lost it there. I'm going to drop my salvo on those Banshees as they attack me here. He doesn't look, so a lot of those Banshees are going to get one shot here. I think I could lose that base for certain with a proper control. He does actually use teleport to... Jesus. Yeah, that's not overpowered at all. My damn Jerome missiles can actually track a unit that's just been teleported. Are you kidding me? So what we're going to do here is start applying the pressure. Since the Banshees are pushing up at our main base, we are in a good position to go for a base trade on Dark Blue. Light Blue has no units to defend unless he has to fly back his entire Banshee army. And Dark Blue has basically nothing at all, I believe, after dropping that Scarab. So there is a couple Banshees coming out of Light Blue again. We're going to walk up right at the front door. Of course, now we do not have to worry about eradication at least for another 5 minutes. I'm going to spread my units out due to the goddamn vortex from the Decimus is doing so much damage to my army at all times. Ryan, of course, as you can see in the minimap, the Banshees are going to have to pull back. That's definitely the only option here. I'm going to start moving around the base to take out shield gens and push to the back. Of course, Ryan has a large composition of Wolverines, which will help against this. So the Decimus player pulling back to hopefully defend is most certainly a lost cause for him, because a lot of his units will fall here. Of course, the suicide drop there from Atriox is a great job. Does a great job of taking out some of my units. Of course, the Vortex there, I'm able to scoot away with a little bit of micro. Ryan, getting cocky as hell, drops his salvo down. I'm going to drop a victory turret on my units here. And Harley does officially sack his base. You know, I don't care, man. Take down my damn Mantis, because all I have to do is hit the Y button. I'll get another one in moments. So there you have it. I think that is pretty much game. It all came down to pushing at the right time, knowing when to push forward on bases. Just like I said earlier on, guys, we were the swinging hammer. We had moved right and left, constantly preventing their expansions, and that's what certainly gave us the game, of course, on top of the OP Jerome Mantis. And that is most certainly what is going to hand us this W right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Shouts out to Jeff Kills and Harley. You guys are awesome. I love playing you guys. So thank you so much for this match. Thank you guys so much for watching. And also, guys, hit that little bell notification thing. Oh, look at that. 4 points away from champ. Ooh, baby. Hit that little bell notification next to the subscribe button, so that way you are notified daily when our videos go live, because we are daily Halo uploaders. Keep your eyes open for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Slick from Breaking the Clutch, and we'll see you guys next time.